Hello, this is George Shears. I'm a retired psychologist living in northern Minnesota, and on this audio, I will offer some detailed description about and initial guidance in applying a simple but profoundly beneficial form of meditation. I call it deep mindful breathing, or DMB for short. With a history of about 45 years of dedicated mindfulness meditation practice, I've come to regard DMB as by far the most practical and easy to learn application of mindfulness. After a very modest degree of practicing it with the guidance offered here, most people, I believe, will be able to apply it effectively in their daily lives whenever they choose to do so without relying on any outside guidance. I hope, therefore, that it will be a highly beneficial resource in helping to manage and reduce the intense emotional distress that is currently being activated by the coronavirus pandemic. There's now abundant evidence that chronic stress weakens the protective function of our immune systems, and also that the regular practice of mindfulness can significantly enhance our immunity. Moreover, since our lungs are particularly vulnerable to the coronavirus, deep mindful breathing, by helping to reduce congestion in our lungs, may thereby also provide some increased protection against this alien invader. Similarly, it may also help to counteract myriad other respiratory viruses. So, with this brief introduction, I will now offer some basic guidance in how specifically to engage in this very simple self-healing process. And following this guidance, please feel free to pause the audio whenever you feel the need to do so. To begin, I invite you to select a reasonably quiet setting where you're not likely to be interrupted or distracted for the next few minutes. Next, I encourage you to assume a comfortable, relaxed posture with your back straight, your head balanced comfortably on your spine, and with both feet flat on the floor. In order to facilitate this optimal posture, I suggest that you sit in an ordinary straight back chair that allows you to have your hips somewhat higher than your knees. You may rest your hands, palms down on your thighs, or else fold them comfortably in your lap. Finally, in order to minimize external distractions, I suggest that you let your eyes gently close if that's comfortable for you. Having positioned yourself in this way, I invite you now to take a little time to just let your body settle into this relaxed, dignified posture. As you do so, gently turn your awareness inwardly and start noticing some of the many subtle sensations you experience in your body. Becoming aware, for example, of sensations in your feet, in your abdomen, in your chest, and in your face. Just letting your body be the awesome part of nature that it intrinsically is. Opening and being as fully present as possible to all of the interesting sensations of aliveness that arise naturally moment to moment in your body. Next, I invite you to start focusing specifically on the subtle sensations in your belly that are associated with natural breathing. Notice how these sensations change continuously as the breath comes in and goes out. And as you continue to focus on these sensations, I invite you to consciously let go of any unnecessary muscle tension with each natural out breath, enjoying as fully as possible the natural wave of relaxation that's intimately associated with each natural out breath. And as this natural relaxation occurs, I invite you then to just settle into the natural pause that tends to occur at the end of each outbreath, and then patiently rest in that awareness until the body is fully ready to breathe in again. In other words, instead of automatically breathing in again immediately at the end of the out breath, allow the natural wisdom of the body to determine when it is fully ready to breathe in again. This interval of patient waiting at the end of each out breath is fundamentally important to deep mindful breathing in that it allows the following natural in breath to be optimally deepened or extended. In our automatic breathing process, this natural deep breathing, which is intrinsically relaxing, tends to occur only on those occasions when we're particularly tired and or distressed, and we then yawn or sigh. Through automatic or non-mindful breathing, then, we tend to override our body's natural propensity to continuously release unnecessary muscle tension through deep, relaxing breathing. Anyone who has paid close attention to the behavior of their beloved canine friends will have repeatedly observed that whenever these wise beings have accumulated even a modest degree of muscle tension, for example, when they have been disciplined in any way, they will quickly release this tension with a yawning deep breath. We would do well, very well, to emulate them in this natural wisdom. In order to correct for this habitual error, however, most of us need to become consciously reattuned to the subtle bodily cues that arise when each natural in-breath is fully ready to occur. Shakespeare seems to have recognized this by coining the expression, quote, waiting with bated, that is, abated breath, in one of his poems. So, with this understanding, when you become aware of this complete readiness to allow a fully natural in-breath to occur, please continue to focus specifically on the sensations in your belly associated with that full natural in-breath. And then, immediately at the end of that full in-breath, allow the natural out-breath to occur as you again consciously let go and fully enjoy another pleasureful wave of relaxation. And then, once again, rest as fully as possible in the peaceful pause of awareness that occurs until your body is fully ready to take in the next natural in-breath. I invite you now to continue in full moment-to-moment awareness as this simple and very healthy natural breathing process occurs. Now, I'd like to guide you in an important additional step in deep mindful breathing. It consists in simply shifting your main focus of awareness at the end of each natural in-breath from the sensations in your belly to sensations in what I will call your heart center, that is, in the middle of your chest. I invite you then to remain focused on these sensations as you immediately release the out breath and, as before, savor as fully as possible the natural wave of relaxation associated with that out breath, as well as the deep peace of resting in awareness during the pause that follows at the end of that out breath, as you again patiently wait for the subtle signal from your body that it is fully ready to breathe in again. I invite you now to engage briefly in this refined variant of deep mindful breathing. Another key aim of deep mindful breathing is to enhance our awareness of what an incredibly precious gift we receive with each and every breath, and accordingly to cherish as fully and as deeply as possible this awesomely sacred gift. Most simply stated, it is none other than the ongoing gift of life itself. In spite of this basic reality, however, it seems that for most of us, this awareness tends to become somewhat blunted or maybe completely absent in the endless busyness and stress of our lives until perhaps our breathing becomes almost totally automatic and taken for granted. As such, it also tends to become dysfunctional in some very important ways. Therefore, the final step in deep mindful breathing is to reclaim and enhance our awareness of and deep, loving gratitude for this ultimately precious gift. As we do so, our sense of intimate connectedness with all other earthly life forms, to quote unquote, all of our relations, as Native Americans like to say, is also likely to become much more acute. And just as our lives are greatly enriched by the loving, compassionate gratitude we feel for all of the special people in our lives, we can likewise benefit greatly by consciously extending these same heartfelt sentiments to all beings with whom we are deeply connected through each and every precious breath. So now, I will offer some further guidance in this final and crucially important aspect of deep mindful breathing. As you continue to engage in this process as previously guided, with each natural out-breath, I invite you now to imagine as vividly as possible that you are radiating from your heart center deep gratitude for the precious gift of life that you have just received, along with feelings of loving kindness and great compassion to all of the innumerable beings, including yourself, who have contributed to this wondrous gift. I suggest in doing so that you imagine that these special sentiments are radiating or flowing out in all directions from your heart center in the form of golden healing light, much like a warm, loving sun that shines on all beings equally. As you continue then with deep mindful breathing, I invite you to add this final, very important step. Congratulations! If you have patiently persisted through this very novel guided process, you are now privy to this simple recipe for an intrinsic form of deep natural healing. Although you may find it quite challenging at first, if you continue to utilize this audio guidance to practice it regularly to the best of your ability, it is likely to evolve quite quickly into a very healthy new internal skill. If you choose to engage in acquiring and refining this new skill, I strongly encourage you to be infinitely patient with yourself, just as you would be hopefully in, say, learning to play a musical instrument or learning a foreign language. In practicing mindfulness in any form, it's extremely common to discover that our minds definitely have a mind of their own, so to speak. That is, in spite of our strongest intentions to focus and maintain awareness in a particular way, we are very likely, again and again, to become automatically distracted in endless ways. Most commonly, these lapses consist and getting caught up in various forms of automatic thinking. By far the most skillful way to deal with these inevitable distractions is simply to recognize when they have occurred as soon as possible, and then, without any negative judgment of any kind, to refocus awareness and gently begin again. I actually encourage you to utilize these two words, begin again, as a gentle mantra to consciously affirm each time when you recognize that you've been sidetracked by some form of automatic thinking. I also strongly encourage you to practice deep mindful breathing to the best of your ability and as much as possible in your daily life. One of the great advantages of this particular form of mindfulness is that it can be easily integrated into a wide variety of daily activities, such as walking or any other form of exercise. Since we are continuously breathing, regardless of what else we might be doing, deep mindful breathing is always readily available as an option. As a means of becoming or staying connected to our deepest being, it is second to none. I've personally come to regard it as a very effective means of maintaining balance of our subtle energy system, which is of key importance in maintaining high-level wellness. Spiritually speaking, it can also be understood as a means of quote-unquote praying without ceasing, which has been recommended in many of the world's great wisdom traditions. In ending this audio guidance now, I wish you all the best in continuing to develop this awesome master skill. May the force always be with you in this noble pursuit, and may all beings benefit from whatever merits it may have. Namaste, and bye for now.